Hi, this is Tom Rhodes. Please join me as I scour the four corners of the earth to bring you interesting and intelligent, funny people who will enrich your life with wisdom and laughter. I'll take you to Europe, Australia, all over America. I might take you to the peaks of Machu Picchu, the canals of Amsterdam, the Great Wall of China, or the swamps of Florida, and certainly the many, many comedy clubs and comedy theaters all over the world. Come hang out with me and meet the many interesting people that pop up in my life as I travel the world as a stand-up comedian.
You're listening to Tom Rhodes Radio.
Karate kick, baby.
Rock and roll.
Well, hello, world.
And hello, beautiful human beings on this world.
Hello.
That was a cute opening.
Yes, it is 2:20 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my God, it's late. Why are we up so late?
Oh, Tom, why are we late?
You don't have to start it over.
Why are we up so late? We just arrived from Las Vegas a couple hours ago.
Our flight was late. We had an evening flight anyway, and I basically had time to do laundry and pack and get ready because I'm flying to Tokyo tomorrow.
In a couple hours.
That's going to be exciting. I haven't been to Japan in 10 years.
Wow.
I'm excited.
So we decided to do this podcast before you go.
Yeah, and forgive us for being a little tired, but we didn't want to leave people jonesing for the next episode of Smart Camp. So, what's on your mind this week, Smoochie?
Well, we really want to talk about Harvey Weinstein.
And his world collapsing, as it should.
He is over.
That guy, wow. Yeah, I mean, seems like it couldn't have happened to a shittier guy. It's all these stories, like Lupita Nyong'o, however you say her last name, that beautiful Kenyan actress who won the Academy Award for 12 Years a Slave. I didn't read her story, but a few people sent me messages and said that her story that she came out with was very similar to what happened with Louis Anderson cornering me when I was 19 years old.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, where he got her up in the room and cornered her, and I don't know if it's the same story.
Oh my God, you are right. I did read it, and she did say he had my ass in his hands. Oh my God, that's so funny. I did not even connect those two.
Oh wow,
yes.
I see, because I didn't tell you that a few people had sent me messages.
Holy shit! Yes, I read it. But the only thing that went through my head was, oh my God, how awful!
Yeah, that's
so
how.
My mind didn't go to, hey, that's a joke that Tom is doing.
And that's how I felt when both of my ass cheeks were in Louis Anderson's hands.
So we be laughing about it, but you truly had an experience while you were 19 years old.
I'm sure most listeners have heard this story about when I was 19. And I came to Los Angeles for the first time. I was fresh off the turnip truck, small town hayseed. I had never been to California in my life, and I did a set at the Comedy Store. And Louis Anderson acted like I was the funniest comedian alive and invited me to hang out with him. And I thought, famous guy wants to be my friend.
You were 19 years old,
Yeah.
and you just won a contest to go by yourself to Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
And Louis Anderson was huge.
Yeah, for his clean family humor, by the way.
Yeah.
So, if you want to hear the full story, it's on my new album, All Hail Laughter.
Smart.
Available on iTunes and Amazon. But
look at you, Mr. Salesman.
no, but this whole, MeToo issue, it's not just, women that it's happened to.
Yeah.
And, I think the one thing I'm grateful for with the Louis Anderson story, the way that, and I've always thought this through the years, like since then, whenever, like through the years when I was with a girl and like I could feel her pull away when I was making a move on it, I never like pushed the issue or tried to get aggressive because I knew how it felt to be, the weaker person who's got some big, sex fiendish animal trying to make a move on you.
Yeah, this happened, 40 years ago?
No, I'm not that old. No,
30.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Smoochie. 30 years old. 40 seemed so long. But it happened 30 years, so it took a long time for you to talk about it, right?
I didn't tell anyone for years. I was ashamed. And you hear these women talk about, they felt like it was their fault. I went back to Florida and all my friends were like, "Oh my God, how was Hollywood?" And
Did you tell them?
No, I didn't tell another living soul for years.
Not even your close friends or your close family members?
My friends Lou and Kevin, I told them a few years later.
Oh, wow.
They were like my best friends on the planet, and but it took several years, and I was ashamed that it had happened.
So how did it feel at the moment when it happened? Because he took you totally by surprise. Because you didn't even know that he was gay.
No, and I felt like I had been swindled. Like, I really felt like a small town hayseed right off the turnip truck.
Oh, wow.
And, the thing with this whole Harvey Weinstein story, like all these stories that have come out, like all these meetings have happened at hotels.
Yeah.
And then they were supposed to have the meeting at like the hotel bar. And then one of Harvey Weinstein's assistants, a female assistant, comes to whatever actress and says, "Oh, he's very busy. He wants to have the meeting in his room." And then this female assistant walks her upstairs or up the elevator or whatever into his, I'm assuming he has a suite. And then leaves. So these employees of Harvey Weinstein are also complicit in this swindle, sex trap,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I don't. There was a story about the potted plant where he like jacked off into a potted plant. Was one story, and then there was another story I read about this English actress who. In London, he was in a robe, he took his robe off, and she like freaked out and ran into the bathroom and closed the door, and then she was in there for like 15-20 minutes, and then she like opened the door thinking it might be safe to come out, and she said he was standing there naked jacking off. How weird is that? It's almost like a jack-in-the-box creep, surprise.
And he looks like a pervert.
Well, yeah, I mean, wow.
But,
all those Oscar speeches where he was thanked and Meryl Streep called him God.
I didn't even know who he was. I just remembered the Weinstein name, but that's it. I never seen him.
I don't know who he was, and I think he was the inspiration for Shrek.
Really?
No, seriously, I'm not joking. I think he was the inspiration for Shrek. Like, supposedly. So I don't know, maybe what was his plan? To brainwash young girls to be attracted to big, ugly, fat guys?
Damn.
With funny prongs sticking out of the head?
So what happened that day then? So you said, can we go back to the Comedy Store and he brought you back?
Well, yeah, no. It was a very quiet ride back to the Comedy Store. But I mean, I felt ashamed and disgusted.
Did you ever talk to him again after this?
No. I saw him about 2 years ago at the Comedy Store.
Oh, I was there with you.
Yeah, you were with me.
He was performing and I said, "Oh, you never guess who's here."
Yeah.
And then I knew that you haven't seen him for all these years.
Yeah, and a couple comedians ran over to me and like, who knew the story, and they were like, "He's here. Are you going to say anything to him?" What am I going to fucking say to him?
Yeah.
You like took advantage of me when I was young and naive?
Were you afraid at the moment when it happened?
No, I wasn't afraid. It was just like a wah, wah, wah. I had no idea the guy was gay. I thought he was just being very friendly. And I was ashamed at my own stupidity.
Oh, wow, because that's how women feel.
Yeah, I saw no sign of any danger or that there was going to be any sexual thing at all. I just thought, famous guy wants to be my friend.
Yeah, yeah. That was a shame that you felt you made a mistake. Was that the shame?
Well, I guess I felt like it was my mistake, sure. But also, just I had been duped.
Yeah.
But I trusted this powerful, famous person in the comedy world. You know?
Yeah. And he took advantage of it.
And he took advantage of it.
In your most vulnerable...
Vulnerable
moments.
Well, like I said, the best thing that happened from it was when I was younger through the years, that I never was like an aggressive creep with women because I knew how it felt. You know, not that I never made any,
I think but you're a very sweet guy, and
I'm a sweet guy, and I'm...
You have a very nice, a sincere, cool, and very nice and tender, and such a sweetheart disposition. So I don't think you would ever misread.
Yeah, but also I'm lucky because I really love my mom.
Yeah,
my mom is like so important to me, and I had my little sister Laura, who I was so close with, and I told Laura all the things about how men operate, and they just want one thing, and
I mean at a certain age.
Yeah, but I mean
when you guys were growing up.
But I think I was lucky in that I have true respect for women because I love my mom so much.
Yeah,
and I love my sister, and I think that also made me aware. I mean, like I'm saying, not that I was never a pig. I mean, no, I wouldn't say I was ever a pig, but I mean, that I was trying to get a blowjob or whatever. But I was never like forceful or, used my position in any way.
Yeah, but you were also nice because you have two brothers and they are not so nice to other people.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm more attracted to being around female energy than the brute thug locker room, kind of mentality.
Yeah. So do you think it changed you afterwards?
No, I mean, well, it's funny. When I was in high school, this girl that I went to high school with, Eve Evans, was our homecoming queen. Beautiful girl. And her mother was from Greece, and her mother was really stunning. And her mother had been a Broadway dancer, some showroom type dancer. And she had been in show business, and small town Oviedo, Florida, Eve Evans said, you should talk to my mom if you want to go into show business. She was in show business. And so I popped by their house one day, and I'm talking to the mom. I'm probably 14, 15 years old. And the mom said that, it's great you want to be in show business, but you should be aware that there are creeps who lurk in the business who are powerful people who can help you advance, who will try to have sex with you.
Wow.
And I thought at 14 years old, however old I was, when she was telling me this, I was thinking to myself, yeah, if you're a beautiful Greek woman.
Yes.
And
wow.
I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is like the most, this advice does not apply to me because I'm a man.
Yeah.
Or a boy or whatever, but, and then when the Louis Anderson story happened, I remember thinking, Mrs. Evans was exactly right.
Wow, that just blew my mind. How cool that Mrs. Evans was so brave enough to tell you, even though you were pretty young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and that was a real no bullshit advice.
Yeah.
Like, here's the, one thing you should be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare it to nowadays, advice would be, oh, you'll do great, just do your best,
but you can achieve anything. Just believe in yourself,
yeah.
Right?
And back then, she really showed you the reality of it. It was super brave and noble.
It was very brave and noble, and they're very good, nice people. And I remember, I was telling you this the other day when we were talking about this whole Harvey Weinstein thing, about how I was talking to somebody a few years ago, and they were saying, what men don't realize is that women, every time they leave the house, are conscious of, they have to, be aware of all their surroundings, in fear that they might be raped.
Yeah.
And I said that,
or assaulted,
or something like that,
or they say something, like hey, where are you going?
Well, I'm talking more than true. I don't that had never dawned on me. I mean, I thinking about my sister and wanting her to be protected, but it didn't, just the mass of women as a whole, that is like an everyday worry about being assaulted or anything or whatever. And when I said that to you the other day, you were like, "Are you kidding? We can't even eat an ice cream in public."
Yeah, or a banana.
Yeah. And then I was blown away again. I was like, "Fuck, man, I never even thought of that."
Yeah, these are subtle things that you have to be aware every day, because you're a woman. And that's not, I mean, it also is, for example, if you're a black guy, you also have to think about certain things that you can't do.
Right, well,
like
that's
me, like a brownie, like I'm a brownie, and sometimes we go into hotel rooms and we have a grocery bag with us, which, with yogurt and banana, I mean, decent stuff, right, to have breakfast. But I'm not going to carry the grocery bag into the hotel, because I don't want to have look at that, a brownie with her grocery bags, cannot afford real food. Just little things like that.
That's funny. And I always carry the bag, but I never...
Yeah, but that's more about color. Like a black man you cannot just run on the street,
Right.
If you're a white guy, you don't even think about that.
I'm a white guy. I can run down the street carrying a big screen TV and nobody's going to stop.
I wouldn't even want to make it like that, but yeah. So, but that's perception, and it's widespread, and it's really a freedom infringement that you feel trapped in your freedom. When I go to the movies, it's at night. That's why I say the movies in the evening after dark. I have to think about a lot of things before I open that door.
No, if I'm on the road, I always tell you, bring the mace. I don't want you...
Right, so you understand.
Yeah, no, there's the one stretch of dark road that worries me.
It's not only the dark road, it's the whole road, It's even in the movie theater.
Right.
Yeah, it's just certain men feel very powerful, like Weinstein,
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you will be provoking. If you don't say anything, you're provoking because then you're arrogant. If you say something, you're also in danger because, this person doesn't want to be overpowered or whatever, So it's very dangerous situations when you go by yourself.
What situations, I don't want to say what's the worst thing you can think of?
What, that happens? What do you mean?
Things in your life that have happened to you.
Oh, so many things. Well, I would say the thing that I did not like at all was as a woman, you encounter these things a lot. And what I mean by a lot is you got to see every contact with another human being and then say maybe 20% of that. It's always a guy saying something, doing something, or just infringing your freedom. But the thing that I want to say is I had many stories when I was working at the government, and it also happened between women. It's not that I get sexually harassed by women, but I did get harassed just because I was who I was as a lady, It was because of my femaleness or my feminism that I got harassed by women who were above me,
Right.
That's another story. But I think the worst stories were after the government period. I started to work for myself. So I had to go, out of the world, meet people, network. And so many times happened that the guy who I was talking with and I'm talking about CEOs, I'm talking about people with their own company, so many times they thought that we had a thing together.
Just because you came to talk business.
Yeah. Let's say the first encounter, we have a great meeting, and I'm thinking, wow, this is going really great, you know? But then at the second meeting, you kind of think, okay, this is not going where I want to go, you know? I kind of discovered that they wanted to have something more or something else. It was so tiresome for me. I had no choice to cut all the ties, right?
Yeah.
And that happened so many times that I really lost the belief in a normal world, or in a world where I can be the successful woman that I was dreaming about. I even had the banking guy. I mean, you know, when you start a business, you have to open a bank account. And this guy who was working at the bank account, I mean, he knew everything about me. He started to text me on my personal text. You know, I didn't give him my number.
He just got it off the bank information.
He just got it off the bank information.
Wow.
And at first I thought, oh, that's cool. I'm getting a
personalized treatment.
Personalized treatment. Because it first started very, normal, business-like. And then after a while, I'm getting drunk messages.
Oh.
And I'm getting, hey, do you want to get together? This is the bank guy who has my bank
pics from the guy who runs the bank. Okay, bro.
Yeah. But can you imagine how it feels for a woman to go into a world like that?
I don't think anybody thinks about this stuff. Like, before you told me a woman can't, eat an ice cream cone in public or a banana, it had never dawned on me. And let me just add that the only time I ever eat a banana in public is while I'm reading a quotation book by Quentin Crisp. Yeah, and then the thing that
I love bananas.
About
I would eat a banana every day on the street.
But yeah, just what women have to worry about every time they're out of the house, or what they're wearing and being too provocative. I remember when you and I first started dating, you were still having business meetings.
Yeah. Maybe you remember.
And I remember
stories.
a couple of incidents where you said, I remember you saying, yeah, I have to go have this meeting. And then, like, talking to you afterwards, you were like, yeah, this guy has more on his mind than business.
Yeah. I had a master's degree in my pocket. Wait, before I go into this, I blamed it on myself. I thought, maybe I'm wearing too tight clothes, maybe I'm too nice, maybe I'm smiling too much, maybe I'm too wild in the not business-like, because I'm a very happy girl, and I can be very enthusiastic about stuff when I talk about projects.
Yeah,
I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
So I blamed it on me. That was the first thing I did. I thought, man, I'm not business-like enough. I'm never gonna survive in this business. And I went through this whole period that I blamed it on me, and I tried to change myself so much, and then I was lost. I was so lost. And that's how I met you and started to travel with you.
Oh, that's a pity, because I think, the male urge to procreate and regenerate the species, that's like that. That's a small fraction that you can make certain things excusable, but the major percentage is it's really bad manners for men to just be turning business situations into a chance sexual encounter or trying to make it into a sexual encounter. Yeah. I really enjoyed that that article that you posted today. What was it? Was that from The Atlantic? The woman,
yeah.
She was talking about how a big issue with this is economics. How women not having equal pay in the world, and women couldn't even have a credit card in their own name until 43 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they could be raped or beaten by their husbands. Women had no rights not that long ago. But the thing she was saying in the article was about the women who went to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room. These actresses, it's a make or break situation.
Yeah.
He knows that. They know that. And if they try and make a stink about, him crossing the line of what's acceptable behavior,
You can lose your whole future.
your whole fucking career is over.
Yeah.
And some of these, people, a lot of these people have families or children or whoever to support. I mean, much less just even themselves, just to be economically independent human beings.
Of course.
And make it successful in show business. So,
Of course. I mean, that's for me, it was the same thing. Because I started this new business and then so many things happened that I had to cut all the ties with, 80% of the people I met. I decided to, I don't know, it's kind of tough to talk about it, Because I cut a lot of possibilities for me just because of that reason,
because it kept happening over and over.
Yeah. I used to be a really good writer. And I had this guy who was a writer. He won awards. He was well known in the writers group, and he was speaking and giving seminars and stuff like that. And so I met in one of those business meetings, and he was so positive about stuff. And he said, "Well, I can teach you how to write." So, and I knew, I'm not going to write a book right now, but I thought, hey, this is cool. A guy who's going to mentor me, and maybe this guy can mentor me just in my life, just because I like writers,
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I was super business. Anyways, a guy invites me to a cafe, and he gave me very good, like a mini course, how to write. And then I tried to write a little piece, like right there at the moment. To be honest, that it's a very vulnerable moment, right?
Yeah.
If you do that, because you share something very private, even though the thing I wrote was not, intimate or anything, but it was really for me. It's like diary writing, right? And we were by ourselves, and then all of a sudden he says, "Do you want a massage? I can make you relax more."
What? What is this massage shit?
I know. I mean, that's such a easy way to, go into the whole mood of touching.
No, that's what.
That's what Weinstein.
I know.
I got Weinstein.
You got Weinstein.
But it was terrible, babe, because I was just there and thinking, wow, this guy really believes in me,
Yeah.
and he's a writer, and I could just dream myself being a writer. I'm thinking, wow, this could be really something for me. And he was complimenting on the thing that I just wrote, and we were just having this great conversation. We were talking about philosophy, so it was really, really great for me, But then he said that, and then all my world just crumbled. My whole world future dream just crumbled right there when he said that, and I thought, fuck,
Wow.
I've been swindled. And
So
I was one of those girls, like the writer from the Atlantic who just left,
Yeah.
I said, no, you're not going to get a massage. What are you talking about? And I think, you know what? I need to go. And I left. So that was a good thing. But, it was just so painful. I guess like you just felt like duped and swindled and thinking, how can I be so naive?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I guess I was mad at myself too.
Me too.
And also, I mean, aside from being ashamed, I was like, "You stupid moron! You couldn't see the signs of this." That's
me too.
I'm sure you beat yourself up.
Yeah.
The joke that I did about Bill Cosby. I feel bad for the women who fucked Bill Cosby voluntarily. I feel bad for the women who fucked Harvey Weinstein voluntarily. I'm glad I didn't want anything or need anything from Louis Anderson when he was trying to, imagine somebody being so desperate that they would give Harvey Weinstein a massage or fucking watch him take a shower. That's his come on line. Watch me take a shower. Give me a massage. It's so fucking creepy.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you wanted to say?
Yeah. So, wow. Well, I'm sorry you felt that way, babe.
But those are just the small things that happen. I just mentioned that because of the massage thing. But there are so many instances that happen. I have so many stories. And that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I saw so many friends of mine sharing a story. And I thought, geez, this is what everybody has. This is not me being just stupid and naive and letting myself duped all the time. This is not me. Doing my career, but I just let it go because I thought it was my fault that I was not good enough for it.
Right.
I wasn't good enough for the business world.
Right, or maybe I'm not cut out for this kind of work, right?
Yeah, and I changed my future just because of that insecurity.
Yeah, and wow, that is another thing most people don't realize. I mean, how many women gave up careers in acting or in entertainment?
Or women who stood up and then they get blackmailed or whatever in their career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also think that this has to do with a lot of power, of course. I think men are in power and women are treated inferior.
Yeah.
And that power just gives you a lot of tendency to do something wrong. Immoral?
Well, I mean, so there's this whole avalanche of people coming out, and the hashtag MeToo. There was some woman is a showrunner, or she created some shows for Amazon, and some executive development guy. They were at Comic-Con or something, and they're riding in a limousine and whatever, and she's a lesbian married to her partner with an adopted child. And this guy is still hitting on her saying, "You're going to love my dick."
Oh.
Did you read that story?
No.
Yeah, that was one of the... and then that guy, he just lost his job or got laid off or something. And now there's some other director who 38 women have accused... all this, and then there was the Ben Affleck video. Did you see that? It's from 10 years ago. He's on the MTV of Canada or something, and he made the girl sit on his lap.
I saw, but he was drunk, right?
He was really drunk.
He was really drunk. Yeah. Well, that's another thing that I also want to say is that most of the times something happens like this, it's almost normal, it almost feels normal that we are treated that way. And that's also, this hashtag is doing is getting a lot of emotions out of women because because now we see, oh my God, it happened to us more than once, more than twice, and in all these occasions, it was not okay. Even though when I look back, I think, oh, that was okay. I mean, the dude was drunk. Okay, we all do that when we have, when we're boozed.
Well, I mean,
but it's not okay.
But if you're in a bar, if you're in some kind of bar situation or at a party or something, that's different, and you're drunk. I mean, like the Ben Affleck thing, he was on a television show promoting a movie. He was working. That girl who was interviewing him, she was really young, and she obviously he's the guy's about to become a movie star. He is, just became a movie star. She doesn't know how to act because he's just so forceful with her. That's not an excuse.
No, I'm not talking about Ben Affleck, and it's not an excuse. I'm just saying, in certain times you really think that this behavior is normal, and then now this whole culture of the hashtag MeToo happens. You go back in your memory and you think, oh, that occasion happened to me as well, and now I see that that's not okay. While before the hashtag MeToo revolution, I kind of felt it was okay. Do you get me?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's making a lot of emotions. how do you say it? You make a lot of emotions out. You
It's cathartic.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's cathartic.
It's cathartic, and
Yeah.
no, not only cathartic. It makes you think about situations that were okay, and then now you think, Jesus Christ, that was not okay.
Right.
You know, I was so young. How could you have done that to me, you asshole? You know.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it's weird. You know, Harvey Weinstein. He gets expelled from the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences. His career is ruined, as it should be. The guy, for years, has systematically used his power to abuse people. The largest donor to the Democratic Party, by the way.
Why do you have to say that? I don't want to say
He's
that.
organized a lot of parties.
Who cares?
Well, I mean, Trump, with all his shit,
Would grab them by the pussy.
Grab him by the pussy.
And those Fox
That-
News people.
that wasn't enough to keep him from being president. But Harvey Weinstein, they probably both had both rich guys their whole life. They weren't charming and good looking enough or intelligent enough to woo women through intelligence and personality. They had to use their power and lascivious cunning. It's interesting. So I don't know. Is the world changing, or is it not?
Well, that's a great conversation, babe. I like that. I think there's a revolution happening right now. What is it now? 2 weeks? There's a lot of women coming out sharing their story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like it's a new world, but then again, it doesn't. 'Cause
Well, maybe it
look
is.
who's in charge of steering the fucking boat. Trump.
Oh, no, well, I think if something happens right now, if you are a guy who likes to jerk off in front of women, you're gonna think twice now before doing it. Because you know that woman is gonna say something.
Yeah.
And then he jerked off in a potted plant.
Well, and what kind of plant was it? And, I mean, women are the most important, and we need to stand up for them right now. But also, let's give the plants a break, huh?
It's so gross. But I think it's a power thing. You see people inferior. It's a power thing because you can go that far. So do you think something will change?
That's what I'm saying. It feels like it's an epoch and something is happening. The tide is changing but obviously there's still pay inequality. That article that you posted and had me read today, we should post that so people could read it.
I posted on my Facebook.
Yeah, it's how it is about power and the inequality of most women's economic situation, where they would have to tolerate this kind of shit from somebody just because of their economic situation. Don't want to lose my job. I want to advance. I need to, support myself and or my family. So, is anything going to change if the economic imbalance doesn't change?
Right.
So I think they both need to happen at the same time. Otherwise, you'll always have powerful men looming over women who are, afraid of losing their job.
And you know what? Something has to happen right now, because if it doesn't, the men who are assaulters would say, "Oh, you see, they cried, and now nothing happened," and
Right.
they even feel more powerful.
Well, that's what happened with Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was rewarded, in fact, with the most important job in the world. So.
Yeah, that's scary.
But I mean, it's unfortunate to think of you thinking, "Oh, maybe I'm not cut out for the business world because of, some
because it just happened over and over and over.
uncouth creeps."
Yeah,
And those were guys in the Netherlands, and I'm always giving the Netherlands more credit for being the perfect utopian society. So
I know these were
it
guys
happens
in the
everywhere.
Netherlands, yeah.
So
Nice guys. I mean, not even a guy you would even expect that would say some certain stuff, yeah.
guys are always trying to get laid.
But that's the thing, babe. I think that's horseshit. That's not an excuse. I mean, women want to get laid too.
Right.
Well, that's another point actually. Because in some situations, I did really like the guy. And I actually liked that he asked me out afterwards. And I thought, oh, this could be nice, boyfriend-girlfriend situation. And he was very sincere about it. He was more sincere. And the other guys were just more abusive.
Right. Okay, yeah, because I mean...
Exploiting.
I'm thinking in my head, times in my life where I was drunk and flirting with someone on the job. But, my job has been in the comedy world. But I don't think I never put a female comedian who was a beginner in a bad situation, I think I've had class. I know I haven't been perfect, but I haven't been a scumbag.
So do you think you need more than only power? You need to be an awful person as well.
No, I'm just thinking like you're saying about the guidelines of. Now there's your example of there's a guy that I actually liked him doing it, and I'm thinking in my career, all the female comedians I got together with. And
everybody.
And it wasn't a power maneuver. It was mutual admiration.
Okay.
But so is there anything else?
No, because maybe next time we'll go deeper into it.
Okay, and I don't think this Harvey Weinstein story is over. I mean, he's being investigated by Scotland Yard in London and New York. They're talking about civil rights violations that he's broken the laws of human rights, things like that. So anyway.
Oh, but that's exactly what it is. That's how I always felt. I mean, not that I was personally abused by Harvey Weinstein, but I always thought, you're infringing my freedom. If I don't have the freedom just to walk on the street like a normal person, like a human being, like a man, not being worried about stuff, or if you're alone in a dark alley, you're not worried, I mean, if you are worried, then that's infringing on my freedom. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can totally understand a civil rights lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting. So, but the MeToo backlash has been really, really interesting. Of women speaking up all over the world.
Yeah, I really like that. I did decide not to tell my story, the one that's really traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my mom is on Facebook. And that was a very difficult decision because I thought, it's a very private thing, but should I go and demonstrate as well and put my, how do you call those letters?
The placards.
Go on the street and have my placards, because that's kind of what the hashtag MeToo is, right?
Yeah.
It's more of a demonstration and a revolution kind of thing. But I didn't do it, and I felt a bit bad about it. I thought, oh, that's too bad, because I should speak up.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
No, I mean, you don't have to. And, a few people sent me messages about the Lupita Nyong'o similarity with her story with Harvey Weinstein, with what happened with me and Louis Anderson, and I didn't post anything, and only in recent years did I start telling that story on stage. I kept that, and people have said to me, comedians, Do you worry about Louis Anderson finding out that you tell that story on stage sometimes?
I said that
and
too.
or
yeah.
you said that also.
No, not I said it, but I want to say I thought that as well.
Yeah, and I always say I kept my mouth shut for 25 years.
Yeah.
Don't I get anything out of this? You know,
Good point.
I had to feel ashamed and assaulted, and at the very least, I'd like to get a story out of it. You know, a story that took me many years to come to grips with and be able to find the humor in the situation. You know,
And it would also be worse if he was super famous the whole time, because you had to, when you were very traumatized in the beginning, his face would show every time on the television.
Yeah, he was on the TV all the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Because now he has a couple of Emmys,
he won an Emmy.
and now it all comes back. Like, oh my God, I can't believe what this guy did to me all years ago, right?
Yeah. I want to talk about, real quick, the World Series about to happen. The Houston Astros.
Smooth transaction.
Smooth transition. The Houston
Oh, I
Astros.
said transaction.
Smooth transition. The Houston Astros are in the World Series. And Houston had a really rough year. And we've got a lot of great friends in Houston. That would be great if Houston won it. Los Angeles, the Dodgers are also in it. And we live in Los Angeles. We've been to Dodger Stadium multiple times. It would be great if Los Angeles won. Me personally, I'll be happy for either team because I just love baseball. And I could watch little kids play Little League. So I'm going to be in Asia, so I'm probably, if I get to watch it at all, it'll be in the middle of the night. But I wanted to say I really love October because the World Series. And no matter who's in it, I always get really excited about the World Series. And even if I don't follow the whole season and I don't know statistics and most of the players and stuff, but this is usually when I get excited about baseball. But this particular year kind of is bittersweet because some of our biggest supporters of the podcast, Mark and Tamara, who live in the San Francisco Bay Area, their son is a baseball player. He's a pitcher, and he blew his arm out. He's going to have this like major surgery, and he's out for the season. I was trading messages with Mark, and he was saying, I think his son is 15, 16, I forget, 17 maybe. He said, imagine if you were at that age and someone told you couldn't do comedy for the rest of your life. And that hit me like a thunderbolt. And so at the same time I'm watching these guys achieve their ultimate dream of playing in the World Series, my heart goes out to these great friends of ours.
Yeah.
And Mark sent me a very beautiful message. They took Tyler to see this specialist from the Oakland A's. I forget, he's a surgeon or some kind of whatever, and he has to have Tommy John surgery. Tommy John was this pitcher for the New York Yankees, one of the greats of all time, and he blew his arm out and had to have this really hardcore surgery. I'm not exactly sure what happens if they reconnect tendons or what they do. But this surgery is named after this pitcher, Tommy John.
Wow.
And it's not a light thing. It's like a really serious thing. And a sports career could be over from it. So
there's still a chance that he can play?
he's out for the season, and he has to get this surgery. And they're just absolutely heartbroken right now. And I was trading messages with Mark the other day, and he said the only thing that kept him from crying when he left this doctor's office was he listened to my album Hot Sweet Ass. And that kept him from crying. And that I mean,
Are you crying?
I love these people. They've been supporting me since I lived in San Francisco, and like, I love baseball. I want to see their kid, play in the World Series one day. That's how much I love these people, and just the fact of just knowing that my jokes, my album, helped somebody get through a very shitty time in their life. It's what more could I ask for in life?
Wow.
Jokes that I wrote are helping people from...
So beautiful.
Yeah. So, anyway, Mark, I don't pray often, but I'm praying for your son and hope everything turns out good. So I'm watching the World Series with a bittersweet thought, because in the back of my head, as I'm watching these people play, I'm thinking about their son. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that. And then I've been reading this really interesting book. I can't even remember where I found this book, and I just grabbed it to take to Las Vegas this past week. This is Mae West, her autobiography, and it's called Goodness Had Nothing to Do with It. And that comes from a line from one of her movies. She's wearing all these diamonds, and the coat check girl looks at her and says, "Goodness, what beautiful diamonds you have." And Mae West says, "Goodness had nothing to do with it." So, do you know Mae West's story?
No, I just know that Silver Dali had her lips
On
a couch, made into a couch.
You knew those were her lips?
Yeah?
I did not know that.
Do I get credit?
That's incredible. I didn't know that until I was reading this book.
Yes. I know something that Tom Rhodes didn't know.
So, she was from Brooklyn. She starts out in Broadway, and she's writing. She's this big, buxom. Everybody knows Mae West to the line, "Why don't you come up and see me sometime?" She was a massive star on Broadway, and then after silent movies ended, when the talkies came around in the 30s, she was like a massive star. So this is her autobiography. Really interesting, great read, with the exception, it's very dated. She says some very unkind things about gay people, and the terminology when talking about black people is not always very sensitive. So can I read you a couple excerpts? Mm-hmm. From...
There was the glasses on the table, and I'm not editing this. I'm sorry, guys.
No. The listener can handle glasses on the...
It's too loud, Smoochie.
So she's writing plays for herself at the beginning, and she wants to make this play called The Drag about all the gay people in show business that's around her. Uh-huh. Okay? In many ways, homosexuality is a danger to the entire social system of Western civilization. I think she wrote this in the 1970s, by the way. So it's really interesting that she would still have this viewpoint, especially after spending a life in show business. Okay, here we go. In many ways, homosexuality is a danger to the entire social system of Western civilization. Certainly, a nation should be made aware of its presence without moral mottos, and its effects on children recruited to it in their innocence. I had no objections to it as a cult of jaded inverts or special groups of craftsmen, shrill and involved only with themselves. It was its secret antisocial aspects I wanted to bring into the sun. As a private pressure group, it could and has infected whole nations. The old Arab world rotted away from it. The civilization of Greece and Rome marched their really great ideas, philosophies, and arts into being, but both were bisexual to a point where the family unit broke down, and the virility of its great and best breeding lines decayed under attacks from more virile and child-breeding savage tribal orders. I was no daring pioneer in writing of this problem, but I do think no autobiography has yet carried details of its impact on contemporary life as simply and directly as I intend to do in this story of my life. Wow, really interesting. She's got great stories, but she's got very poor vision, I guess. Okay, here's the last one. She wants to write this play about what's happening up in Harlem. And some guy's been telling her about what's happening up in Harlem. He told me some startling things about what went on in that section of Manhattan. Negroes had become the rage of society. Artists and critics like Covarrubias and Van Vechten had taken them on. Their vices charmed thrill seekers. The newspapers were printing a so-called expose of Harlem nightlife. I hadn't paid much attention to it. Okay, that was it. Smoochie?
Yeah.
I know you're falling asleep.
What?
You got your eyes closed. So you...
I love you.
I love you, babe. I'm going to miss you, Smoochie.
I'm gonna miss you too.
Okay. I love you very much. And long may you run, people. And try and have some class. And
next time we talk more about it, and then you'll be reporting from?
on the next episode, I will be reporting from Tokyo.
Tom Rhodes reporting from Tokyo.
You're gonna love it. I got facts about samurais that would make Mae West very upset. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Okay. Let's hit the pillows, Smoochie. I got 2 hours to sleep.
What time is it?
3:30 a.m. exactly.
Oh, you got 2 hours to sleep.
I got 2 hours to sleep. But we wanted to put out a podcast.
So here you go. Unedited.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Frankie and Johnny were lovers, long gone, but how they could love. Swore they'd be true to each other, true as the stars above. He was a man, and he was doing her wrong. Frankie went round the corner to get a bucket of beer. Said to the man, call the bartender, have you seen my Johnny here? He's my man, and I loves him so. I ain't gonna tell you no stories, I ain't gonna tell you no lies. Saw your man Johnny leave about an hour ago with that gal named Nellie Bly. He's your man, and he's doing you wrong. Frankie went round and had a hop joint, brought along a great big 44. She went aside and now she spied Johnny on the floor. He was a man, and he was doing her wrong. Oh, turn me over, Frankie, turn me over slow. Turn me over on my right side, Frankie. Why did you shoot so low? Was my man, and you done me wrong. Rubber-tired coaches, rubber-tired hacks is gonna take my man to the graveyard and never gonna bring him back. He was my man, and it done me wrong.